was that? Oh, recording's in progress. In any event, I think it's time for self-introductions. My name is Phil, KD6RM, and we'll pass that baton on to Mike.
Mike, K7GFM.
Bob, KF6ABC.
Sylvia, Kilo Sierra 6 Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
I'm Tom, Whiskey 6 Bravo Sierra, and Pesta next. Over there.
I'm Marie with no call.
I'm Dave, WV6YLK.
I'm Ken, KE6RMN.
I'm Mike, KN6WQP.
He is our brand new member as of tonight. Not only that, he's a digital guy.
Oh.
He doesn't love analog yet, but I haven't worked on him yet.
I'm Bob, N6PGQ.
Arthur, KD6GBY.
And let Carol have a microphone.
KP4MD, Carol. I'm Vice President of this club and also Webmaster, and also your ARRL Sacramento Valley Section Manager. Thank you.
And not only that, she's our Zoom video production magistrate. Yes, sir. Well, let's do that. There's Bob. Say hello.
Good evening, everyone. Wish I could be there.
And then we got Rick, apparently.
Good evening. This is Rick. Looking forward to the meeting.
And Carl. We got your face, Carl. You got to talk.
Hey, how you doing? I just got back on after losing it and having to do something else in the house. Good afternoon or evening, everybody.
And I see we've got Bill N6EF's name up here. Are you there, Bill?
I am. Good evening.
He had the ultimate field day setup. He had his tent set up, his cot set up. He had his air conditioning set up. He had a valet serving martinis. This man knows how to do a field day. Have we got another? Gary Hayes? Are you there, Gary? He's still connecting. There's the dog. Well, his mic's still shut off. Are you there, Gary? We can come back to Gary once we get him up and running. So in any event, we have a treasurer's report. I'll read it. Currently, we have 129 paid members for this year. You know, it's funny, we got a lot of members. Sometimes they don't pay. Where'd the rest of it go? We've got some courtesy and life members. I happen to be one of those. Complimentary members, we have one of those. And our membership, 67% of them currently are members of ARRL. And right now, we've got a couple of bucks in the bank. 990932, of which 3405 is committed to our repeater fund and the balance in our general fund. Thank you, Jojo. And I bet Carol has a website activity report.
Yeah, we can go ahead with that. And this is the website report for the month of June 2023 for the n6na.org. And first of all, I'd like to remind everyone that our website is n6na.org, and we try to keep that updated with all information about ongoing events with the club. And thanks again to the website design team who keeps it updated. Reminder that our nets are normally on Wednesdays, and this Wednesday, I guess we're not doing nets because our net control operators here at the meeting are otherwise involved. So please come next Wednesday and check into our nets on 2 meters at 8 p.m. Our 10-meter net on at 8:30 p.m. and also our slow scan TV net on 9 p.m. Also remember our roundtable net on Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. 7181 kilohertz lower sideband. Website activity for the month of June. We had a total of 1,363 page views during the month of June, and the peak number of page views was on June 10th. It was 105. The most visited web pages in June were the homepage with 628 views. We had 92 views on the field day page, which was quite active, of course. Repeater page at 70 views, Nets page at 35 views, and the magnetic loop antenna page is still very popular. It's always been popular, 33 views. So 38.3% of the views were direct hits to our n6na.org URL, and 42.7% were referred by Google searches. And most of our visits came from California, 990, 87 were from Oregon, Washington, 65, and the rest were from other states and other countries around the world. Social media has been growing. Our YouTube channel now has 409 subscribers. We had 608 views to our YouTube videos. That's an increase of 163 over last month.
That's big.
That, yeah, that's very variable, but let's see, the Facebook page now has 770 followers, and Twitter, it's 148. Actually, it's down one from 149, and I think Twitter is kind of falling by the wayside because of all the politics involved with.
You think?
I would think so, you know, but that's not very active lately. People are drifting away from Twitter. The Discord chat did grow by 2 members. We now have 34 members in our Discord chat. And just a reminder to everyone interested in contacting us, you can send an email to contact@n6na.org, and we will route your request to the appropriate person here at River City ARCS. And that's the end of my report. Later on, if you like, I have a few pictures to share from my recent trip to Puerto Rico, but I'll go ahead and turn it back over to our president. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Good job. You know, the big event this past month was Field Day. And for almost the entire month of June, I was out of the country. And I was very pleased when I got home. We got home about midnight on Saturday. Early Sunday morning, I went out and visited our Field Day site. Our team did a phenomenal job. I was duly impressed. They had the antennas set up. Look at this. Our buddy Wilson made it. Hi, Wilson. But again, it was a great event. The antennas were up, the rigs were up, food was being served, people were in good spirits. Again, I was very impressed, and a great deal of thanks needs to be bestowed upon our members who participated in Field Day. In addition to that, Jennifer, W-I-1-T-T-Y, is that right? K-I-1-T-T-Y. Did a great job of ramrodding the Field Day event, from what I understand. I wasn't around to find out. I was busy drinking scotch in Scotland and trying to find a martini in England. You know, James Bond can't get a martini in England. Cold hard fact. So in any event, we have a report from Jennifer. And have you got that ready to run, Carol? Go ahead and run this up. This is very well done.
Welcome to Field Day 2023. Some of the sounds you hear on this presentation are not from our Field Day, but from NASA recordings. It adds a little ambiance to the show. Our field day was held at the historic Dry Creek Ranch House. There are many advantages to the location, including electricity, bathroom facilities, fridges and freezer, shade, and open space. And the weather was amazing for a weekend, peaking at 85 degrees during the day and the mid-50s at night with a fairly steady and consistent wind. The wind did not play a factor in the antenna's stability because the setup crew did a great job in assembling everything and anchoring it. Friday setup began at 3 p.m. with 2 hex beams, a 40-meter dipole, and a couple others Jason assembled off the boom. Team setup did a great job figuring out how to erect the mast and put the hex beam together. Most folks were out of there before 7 and on their way home. Newcomer Bobby, who just needs to take the tech exam, pitched his tent and hung out with me while I got the luxury digs, Tom and Sylvia's trailer. Saturday morning dawn and the balance of setup happened with Bobby stepping in to fill the gaps. Tables and pop-ups went up, cables and band passes connected, solar panels and batteries stationed, and then checks to see that things were fairly safe, marked for hazards, and ready to go. And then we were off. A few bands seemed dead, but 20 and 40 remained a constant throughout the day and night. We got quite a few visitors during the day to our visitors table, and that was wonderful too. Sylvia made us a scrumptious dinner, and then we were back at it. Bobby left close to midnight. Bill and Jason kept plugging away, and I called it with Sylvia around 12:30-ish. I needed some quiet time. Bob had gone home for a nap and came back at 3 to continue to plug away, but wind and cold drove him back to his truck. I came out of the car around 5-ish and in my sleeping bag got back to contacts and catching the last of the East and Midwest folks. Soon with Bob as well, before the band began to fade and we had repeat contacts happening. Sylvia made us an awesome breakfast, and then we were a-go. Our breakdown started around 10:30 with Tom hanging in on 15 meters and Bill on 40. We had fewer people on breakdown than setup and appreciated all the folks that came to assist us with both, including Wilson N6 EMF and Bill N6 WLM and Robert Call and Neil KL7 HQR and Mike K7GF. It was a wrap before 3 p.m. and the field was clear. The end result, over 900 contacts. I will let the data speak for itself. We did well, and that is in large part because of the experienced folks that made the field day their priority. Thank you all for helping make Field Day 2023 successful.
CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day. This is November 6th, November Alpha calling CQ and listening.
I've got results, Tom brought in results. We had 3 QSOs on 80 meters, 287 on 40, 249 on 20, and 63 on 15 meters. This doesn't match 900. You got 602, she was saying that. But in any event, it was a great effort, and everybody did well. In any event, I think the report that we got from Jennifer is fantastic. I mean, that's really well Did everybody copy that? Carol did. There's some things that came out of our field day experience, places where we need to improve. And we'll delve into these things as we get into our general meeting sessions. But if we wish to have a successful field day event, you start in July of the year following your field day event and get things programmed and set up. So there's no pressure, you know, you just kind of get things rolling and life is a lot easier. And we'll get into that. The other thing that I'm not aware of is our current status on this International Space Station event with the Girl Scouts. I know we've been working on that, but I don't know what the status is. Have you got anything to add to that? Yeah, I know she was kind of spearheading that entire event. So with that, my question is, are there any other topics you folks would like to discuss? Bobbert. Oh, yeah, here.
I just wanted to comment a little bit more about Field Day and echo everybody's commendation for Jennifer. She did a really phenomenal job, was really organized. This was her first field day she'd ever attended, so she didn't know exactly what to expect, but she went and evaluated the site before it happened and was there, you know, for the entire time. And so she did a really good job. And she made an awful lot of contacts and had a unique style of asking people to contact her. If I can remember, it was something like, "I know you really want to talk to me." That replaced CQ. Anyway,
I like that.
and it was pretty effective. Field day was good this year. The weather was very,
I couldn't
very good.
believe it.
Nobody had heat stroke or had to go home. There's plenty of water. Sylvia's cooking was phenomenal. It hit the spot and was always there at the right time. The people that brought gear, all of the gear for the most part worked. We were on all the bands that we needed to be on. The only, if we want to talk about suggestions for next year, a couple people talked to me and said that they were not able to find us on 2 meters. So we didn't have a operating 2-meter station that people could contact us, but we'll think about that for next year. All in all, it was a very, very good experience. I kind of like being at the Dry Creek Ranch House. It's a nice place to have field day. You can spread out.
Well, again, you know, we can discuss this at great length, where we'd like to have field day. The only reason I was interested in changing location was to find a place where we could keep people out of the sun. I mean, we had some incidents where I thought we were going to lose some people. That sun is brutal. So if we got a way to make that work at the ranch, that's fine with me. Absolutely no qualms about that. And any other topics? Wilson, you got anything you want to add?
I was saying that it's Wilson, N6EMF, that I wanted to second everything that Bob said. It was fun. I was able to come in on Friday afternoon and help set up and unpack things. And at the end of it, I came in and helped break things down and put them away.
Did people thank you for keeping the grid up?
Yeah, they certainly did.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And then on Saturday, I came in and just hung out with my daughter, Simone. She's 14. And I didn't get a chance to operate much that weekend, but it was still a lot of fun to just come out and see everybody doing their thing and, you know, seeing how a hex beam gets set up with all those elements and all the knickknacks required.
Lots of wire, huh?
Lots of wire. It was like interesting, you know, lots of spring loaded, you know, the bungee cord things that help keep the framework separated or whatever. So I thought that was quite interesting. We saw a 40-meter dipole, which was cool. I think it was one that you cut, 40-meter dipole set up for phone. And then there was What am I missing?
There were actually two of them that I made. One was for the CW
Yeah.
portion, the others were phone.
Yeah, one was CW, one was phone. There were two hex beams that were separated by a couple hundred feet. I'm not sure if there was another. I think Ken had a 2 meter something set up, but not sure if it was working out or whatever. But
Well, you know, Bill had a vertical dipole, 80, 30, 40, or 80, 40, 30, 17, 20, 15, 12, 10. It was pretty neat looking antenna. And again, he had that baby set up. He had his own private suite with a cot, table. I mean, it was first cabin.
yeah,
No other comments? No other questions? Well, I have nothing else to add other than my apologies for not being here. My wife had other plans, and I know who's the boss. But, you know, there's a story that came out of my trip, and you know, it starts off as a really ugly situation, and it actually turns out to be an incredible story. But one of the people I met was a retired military guy. He and his wife were both retired. And when he was in the Army, the U.S. Army, he was he was a intelligence guy. I think they call that I3, if I'm not mistaken. In any event, he was telling me about his childhood. He said that when he was 14, he was being raised by his mother and his grandmother, and poor grandmother came down with terminal cancer, dies. His mother gets diagnosed with a terminal illness, is in the hospital on life support. So this young man goes down and he gets himself emancipated so that he has control of things, and he signs an order to have his mother removed from life support. He's 14. So he does this thing. His father was estranged. He goes home. His father comes to the house, ties him in a chair, sits across from him in the room, and shoots himself dead. That young man sat in that chair for 4 days before somebody found him. So after that was done, an aunt took him in. He lived with her for a few years until she could no longer care for him. She was old. So then he became a ward of the court, went through the whole foster care program, and as soon as that was up, he joins the Army. And when he joins the Army, he said, "Phil, you can't believe this. They give you boots, shirt, pants, hat, and 3 meals a day. Can you believe it? And I had a bed." Well, this young man went on into military intelligence. He did well with that. He retired after 20 years. And to this day, he's working in the civilian side of military intelligence. And there's no misnomer about military intelligence. There's some very bright people that work in those positions. But here's a guy, if there was no way for a child to have a future, he had all that stacked against him, and he came out on top. Nice guy. His wife's a very pleasant person as well. I just don't know how he did it. And I guess that's the story I'm trying to tell is, in spite of circumstances, some people manage to get through it. And to this day, I'm ingratiated to this man for he didn't at all, and he had every reason to. So unless there's some other questions, I think we can shut down tonight's meeting. Oh, do it.
Trying to clean up.
Okay, yeah. Bob, N6 PGQ is offering an antenna here that he brought for anyone who's interested. Okay, he doesn't know what it is. They're back there looking at it.
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah, this is Carol, KP4MD, and I just, I have some pictures to share. For those of you who aren't aware, I was traveling for the last 2 weeks. I was gone to Puerto Rico with my daughter and my 2 grandsons. And I did some operating there. Let me pull up some pictures that I have. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Get out of that. Okay, first of all, I'm going to show just a little slideshow of this is some pictures. Here we go. I'm going to share the screen. I'm sorry, I don't have. This is a one person show this time because James, usually helping with the Zoom, is not here today. This over here is the. I'm normally operating from my condo, which is right on the ocean front, but this time it was not available due to issues with the pandemic that have not been resolved yet at my timeshare. So we had to settle for a little Airbnb, and I was in this house here on the first floor, and the only place I had to put up an antenna was on the side of this garage, and this is the antenna I was using here. This is a buddy stick, and I just had it mounted with a little JAWS mount on the little metal grill there was on the side. And you can see it was not really out in the clear or anything, but I had this tuned on 20 meters. And this was my station. It was so compromised. I really had even trouble getting on CW. So I just set it up on Whisper, which is a digital mode that gets out with very weak signals. There's my KX3. I was running 5 watts on 20 meters. And this is my little netbook computer that was running WSJTX. And let me just tell you, even with this setup and this compromising antenna, these are the contacts that we made on Whisper. From this is the point I was here in Puerto Rico. We made loads of contacts into Europe, all over the United States, Alaska, Hawaii, Australia, New Zealand, and also South America and the Canary Islands. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 continents. So that's just to show you what you can do. And FT8 is not far behind Whisper. You can, this is for people who are in compromised situations. Hopefully, when I'm back in my normal QTH, they're right on the ocean, over the ocean, I'll be able to make some regular contacts and have more to share about this. The other thing I wanted to share was the visit to Arecibo. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Let me stop share and go back to that up here. Arecibo. Pictures here. Okay. And just juggling screens. Sorry, I have to share it on Zoom now. There we go. And we share that. Okay, this was myself, my daughter, and my 2 grandsons were invited to a personal tour by the Director of Telescope Operations there, Angel Vasquez, WP3R. And this is him pointing to the remnants of the dish. Half of this dish was destroyed in a accident which the cable snapped, and the platform that weighs like 900 tons came crashing down into the dish last year. There's been a lot of questions about whether this is going to be rehabilitated, and the National Science Foundation decided that they did not want to do that. What they did do was they did a cleanup of the debris, and that took several $1 million to do, and it wasn't really worth investing more millions of dollars to remove the rest of this. That was just half of the dish that's intact. But I'll just show a few other pictures.
And if you saw you've seen the video of the collapse, the telescope did not fall down like this because the cable snapped, and we were hearing the cable snap. These are big 3-inch bridge strand cables. We had a lot of strands on it. multi-strand. Every time one of those strands used to pop, we used to hear it. It's like a guitar string. Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
And so we were monitoring it with a drone. So every day we used to monitor. Luckily, people thought it was staged, and it was not real. In that morning, we heard a lot of ping. So we had the drone fly up there, and that's when you see the demise of the telescope. So what happened was the last cable that snapped. Because then we have one cable, then the second cable snapped, and once the second cable snapped, the National Science Foundation says, we cannot risk any lives here. We're just gonna have to let it go. And so when it snapped, these towers still held the platform, but then since that one broke, everything went like and crashed into the side here. So if you can see from the top, up at the visitor center, you can see that all this, it's all of that side is missing. Everything from the dish in the center, because we can't even see the center of this. Obviously, all these trees have grown over the years, and you remember these trees weren't that tall. And so when all that came down, so we actually contracted the same people that did the salvage for picking up all that debris from the twin towers, the World Trade Center Ground Zero.
Yes.
It's the same company that did that. So it cost us $40 million to pick up all that.
Wow. Okay. So like half of the dish is gone. That's the part.
So half of the dish is there, and we can't see half of the dish from here.
Okay.
So it looks like it's almost all there, but we just leave it there. Nobody, you can't go down there. We don't want it. The NSF doesn't want anyone there. But remember that building there was where the cable car.
Oh yes,
that
right there.
You
right
used
there.
it.
Oh yes, yeah.
So that from there, that's how we used to travel up to the 500 feet when it was suspended up there. There, and there was a catwalk also that was from this tower to the top.
So are you guys planning on repairing it ever?
Well, we put a proposal in there, Ron. We put a proposal to redo a new telescope. It would have been a different concept. It wouldn't have been the same concept. It would have been, we would have removed all this dish, and we would have put 8 smaller dishes that would be able to steer. But that was about $400 million proposal. And so Congress did not approve it. And we had, I guess our timing was kind of bad as well. You know, there's that big war, the pandemic and war with the Ukraine and Russia. And so it's a bad time to ask for money. So they decided not to. And so August 14th will be our last day of scientific operations, because we still have I don't know if you saw it on your way in, we have a smaller dish. There's a small satellite type dish, okay? It's a little spherical dish of 12 meters, and we're using that for radio observations. And so we're still doing some radio astronomy here, some solar observations, some studies, pulsar observations, and some H1 galactic studying galaxies as well. So there is some science still going on. But on August 14th, all that will cease and everyone's off. And this will be turned into a STEM center, science, technology, engineering, and math. So it'll be an educational center.
So it will kind of be like a museum.
And yeah, it's gonna be like a school. It'll be turned like a school, and we have like a museum up there, like a planetarium. You'll probably be guys going up there. So
this is the inside the visitor center. There's a visitor center that's going to continue to be functioning. The scientific observation part of the observatory is going to cease on August 15th. So it's only going to remain as a STEM educational resource center. And this is a plaque in the visitor center dedicated to Joe Taylor. I'm sure some of you recognize who that is. That's K1JT, the inventor of the WSJT suite of programs, which was JT65, Whisper, FT8, and all of those wonderful digital modes that were intended for weak signal operation that have pushed the performance of ham radio beyond what everybody actually dreamed was possible. So that's him, and here's Russell Hulse, who also is involved in that research. And this is a copy of the original Nobel Prize that was awarded to Dr. Joe Taylor. And this is just a pan.
This is
little
what's left
video
of
that I
the
took to show
the
what's
dish
left of that dish. You can see half of it
after the
is
collapse of the
missing.
platform.
Do you have your phone, Roman?
That's really sad, but that's what remains of this dish. And that's another smaller radio telescope dish that's on top of one of the hills nearby that they've been using. But definitely it's been overshadowed. It just was way overshadowed by the largest radio telescope dish that Arecibo was for many, many, many years. So just wanted to share that, and it was a very pleasant 2-week stay, and I'm glad to share some of these pictures with you.
Well, welcome home, Carol.
Oh, my pleasure.
And thank you for the show. That's quite
Mhm.
quite an experience. Anything else tonight? Anybody else? Well, with that, I'm going to say that's all, folks.
Any comments from anybody out in Zoom land? I see that JoJo's joined us. Thank you very much, JoJo. We gave your treasurer and membership report earlier in the meeting before you joined us. And I do apologize again that there were no nets tonight because this meeting kind of superseded the nets, although the nets theoretically is supposed to start half an hour from now. Maybe somebody will show up to do net control for our 2-meter net. We'll see how that goes. So that's it. Do we stand adjourned? Okay, thank you, and a very good evening to all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Phil.
Very nice presentation. I'll look forward to